Hey, Amelia Mosley here, bringing you a BTN special all about writing. Here's what's coming up. We celebrate the books of Roald Dahl and get a lesson on the art of letter writing. But first up, we're going to join a lesson with best-selling author Andy Griffiths, who taught a class how to write their own novel. Take a look.
If I have my picture taken with this Band-Aid on, everybody will look at the photograph when they're older and they won't remember me as the brilliant genius I was. They'll just remember me as the idiot with the Band-Aid on his face. It's not fair.
Brussels sprouts, bad. 5 of them. Bad, 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 bad. I hate Brussels sprouts.
It wasn't a nappy, says Terry. I was wearing emergency self-inflating underpants. They get a bit baggy when they deflate.
In case you haven't noticed, Mum, I say, I'm a boy. Boys don't want to read about magic fairy ponies.
Good morning.
This is Andy Griffiths, and when it comes to authors, he's kind of a big deal.
And I write very stupid books.
He's the author of more than 20 books, like The Day My Bum Went Psycho, The Bad Books and the Just series.
In real life,
and today he's visiting this class to teach them how they can write wacky, imaginative and hilarious stories, just like him.
He used my head as a bowling ball.
He says the most important part is brainstorming a fun storyline.
Now we're going to start in the classroom. What crazy, amazing thing could happen in this classroom? Yes.
A science experiment could go wrong and the teacher turns into an animal or something.
And what sort of animal could your teacher turn into?
Maybe a cow or something.
Woo!
Obviously, she's a girl cow. All right, so the principal's turned into a cow. Your teacher's turned into a cow. All the teachers have turned into cows. So what are we going to do?
Well, we could do like the big fat cow goes kapow.
Oh, you'd like to see a cow explode?
Yeah.
All right, now it's your turn. Who would like to write a story? What you're going to do is draw a box, just like that, and the box is going to have do not open. What's coming out of the box? It could be something nice, it could be something horrible, it could be something really unexpected. It's up to you what comes out of that box. So your evil me robot is jumping out of the box, and and we know it's going to try to put you in the box and take over. I love that illustration. You've written, I lifted the lid and out flew the shadows of darkness. What's the next line in the story?
I lifted the lid of the box and out popped a monster puppet master.
I lifted the lid of the box and saw this huge scary clown with big ears.
Just from doing this little one scene, you've got the beginning of a really cool story.
But what other tips does Andy have for writing a great story?
Number 1, base the stories on your own lives and the things that have happened to you and the people in your lives. Number 2, it's a really good idea to work quite quickly. So you see, I'm just getting the ideas down as fast as I can without worrying about spelling anything. It won't make sense. At first, creating stuff is very messy. My third tip is to rewrite your work constantly and make it as good and clear as you can, and then I read it out to people. All right, thank you so much, everyone.
And with that, it's time for Andy to leave and for these kids to get writing.
And I'm going off to write my own stories now. See you later.
Which of these is not an Andy Griffiths book? The Day My Bum Went Psycho, 2 Weeks with the Queen, or The Bad Book? It's 2 Weeks with the Queen. That was written by another Aussie author, Maurice Gleitzman. Next, we're going to look at the life of Roald Dahl. He was born more than 100 years ago, but is still one of the most successful kids' authors in history, with 17 bestsellers to his name. Let's find out more about him.
And that is where our story begins.
They're stories where magnificent, magical things can happen, often to wonderfully ordinary people.
It's a golden ticket.
They come alive on the big screen and on the stage. But they all started right here on the pages of books by Roald Dahl, which have been read by millions of kids and adults all around the world. Shh, sorry.
My favourite Roald Dahl book is Matilda.
I really like the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory book.
The BFG, because I think it's really original and it's one of the first books my dad read to me.
Little Roald was born on the 13th of September 1916. As a kid, he wasn't particularly known for his writing, but many of his childhood experiences came to inspire his stories years later. For instance, a chocolate maker used to taste test their new products at Roald's school, and he used to dream of inventing a new chocolate bar. Sound familiar? But before becoming an author, Roald Dahl was actually a fighter pilot in World War II, and later a spy for MI6, working alongside Ian Fleming, the man who created James Bond.
Oh, hello, Ian. Hello, Roald.
It wasn't until 1943 that Dahl put pencil to his favourite yellow paper and published his first kids' book, The Gremlins, a tale of naughty creatures that cause mechanical problems on planes. Dahl went on to write 16 other kids' books, selling more than 200 million copies worldwide.
Try some more. The strawberries taste like strawberries. The snozberries taste like snozberries.
Snozberries? Who ever heard of a snozberry?
One of the best ways to spot a Roald Dahl story is by its use of unusual words like...
Scrumdiddlyumptious.
Flushbunking.
Butt-mugged.
Hornswoggler.
Fizz-whizzing.
So I'll read you something.
While writing, Dahl loved to invent new words with new meanings. He said playing with language, or gobblefunk as he called it, was a good way to make sure his readers wouldn't get bored. Over the years, he created more than 500 words and character names, like Quogwinkles, which are strange space aliens, Trogglehumper, which is a terrible dream, and Snoscumber, a gruesome vegetable found only in giant country. But even without knowing exactly what something like a snozwanger is, it's a deadly three-footed creature that preys on Oompa Loompas, by the way, kids still can't get enough of the magical world of Roald Dahl.
I think they're really original.
His creativity with words, it's all the magic and that it probably won't happen in real life to anyone.
All the characters are very interesting in all their different adventures. His made-up words and how entertaining the books are to read, and the pictures are quite nice as well.
What was the name of the language Roald Dahl made up? Gobblefunk, Whizfizz, or Gobbledygook? It's Gobblefunk. The made-up words were a way of making sure his readers didn't get bored when reading his books. Finally today, let's look at the humble letter. Yes, way before SMS, emails and Messenger, people would communicate by writing letters. It's not as popular anymore, but we're about to meet a man who travels around Australia teaching kids about the art of letter writing. Check it out.
Your trusty old letterbox. If it could speak, it would probably say something like,
I'm so lonely. I never get letters anymore. I mean, every so often I get a bill or junk mail, but nobody ever writes to me just because they want to write to me. I hate email.
Leela, is that you pretending to be the letterbox again?
Maybe. I just feel so bad for it. It's okay. You're all right, buddy.
Yep. Ever since these fancy digital ways of communicating came along, our letterboxes have been getting lonely. Just last year, 820 million fewer letters were delivered across Australia than the year before. But there was a time when heaps of kids your age were writing letters all the time.
Dear Mum and Dad, I'm here writing you a letter, and you won't believe it. BTN are here filming me as I write it.
Wait a minute. That's not Vision from the old days. That's today. It's just in black and white. Get rid of that. Why are you guys writing letters?
Richard, what's going on? Have I travelled back in time? Why is everybody writing letters?
People are writing letters because they're really enjoying writing letters. So I founded World Letter Writing Day in 2014, and I go to schools and I teach kids about writing letters, and they're loving it.
Yep, Richard wants to bring back letters. He reckons a handwritten letter is a really good way to communicate because unlike emails or instant messages, which you can write and send off really quickly, you really have to think about what you're going to say. Another nice thing about letters is that people tend to keep them, so they can be a really interesting window into the past. Whether it's a letter written by a soldier on the battlefield, or a letter from a queen to a US president, or a job application from Leonardo da Vinci. Cool. And people use letters to make a real difference.
And history's shown as well that, people that write letters can change the world. I know Meghan Markle, when she was just 12, wrote a letter because she saw a TV ad and she thought it was a little bit sexist, and they then went back and changed the whole commercial.
Write letters and send them to the right people, and you can really make a difference.
Of course, there are different types of letters. There are formal letters, which you write to someone you don't know very well. They have rules about how they should be set out and the language you should use. For example, you might write, "Dear Mr. Simpkin," not "Hi Richard" or "What's up?" But these kids are writing informal letters to their parents, so the rules aren't as strict. But they say they're learning all sorts of things.
And they help you with spelling because you have to check them without having auto-check.
And Richard reckons that lack of technology is actually good for you.
What I'm saying is take a break from social media, pick up a pen or a pencil and write a letter to somebody, and you'll feel much better.
And your letter could put a smile on someone else's face too.
I think it's very nice, and you have to put a lot of thought into it. So when you give the person the letter, it makes them very happy.
And that's our look at writing. For more info on all of our specials, including heaps of teacher resources, just head to our website. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.